Praise the Lord, everyone. Thank you for tuning in with Dr. Lisa, the preacher. Okay. Well, guys, America is still beautiful to me. I've been around for a little while. I am 56 years old, and I've seen America change, you know, dance around for a very long time. And I still love her. I still want America. This is my home, the only place my soul and spirit know. I've traveled around a little here and there. I'm not a rich woman, so, my travels are limited, but I was able to leave my city. I was able to leave my state. And I think I've been to at least 40. I've been to at least 40 of the states, guys, because I like road trips. I love road trips. I was raised on the road. My grandpa and his brother had, like RVs, campers, and stuff. They were very competitive. So if one had a camper, the other one had to get it. If the other one had yeah, a pickup truck or two, the other one had to get it. I bought an apartment, well, I'm going to get one. You know what I'm saying? So those were the kind of competitions brothers had back in the day. So, yeah, thanks for being here, guys. Click like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, please. So, yeah, I still love my land. I still love my country, my home. Sometimes it goes through storms, you know, lots of storms. Hi, Maggie. So, yeah, am I mixed? Yeah, I'm mixed with slavery. Yeah, but I am Afro native. I am Afro native to this land. I was already here and I am mixed with slavery. Yes, but that doesn't take away from my DNA, my right, regardless to who acknowledge my right, respect my right, regardless to any of that. I am still here and breathing and breeding. Okay. I am alive. I'm still breathing out of my nostrils and breeding generationally on this land, regardless to who trash me, abandon me, try to sell me, you know, jail me. I'm still here breathing and breeding. I am the mother of the living here, all living collectively. Collectively, we're here on this land, whatever you want to call it. Today we call this place America. For me, North America. And I love it here. I love my land. Even if people come and trash it and bad talk it, piss all over it, shit all in my face, call me names, you know, hold me out, whatever. Marry me, divorce me, you know. I don't care what people think they doing to me. This is my land. You ain't gotta like me. You ain't gotta like my hair. I don't care. I'm everywhere. I just call myself Afro Native. I know today we go by Black. We've been called Negro. We've been called colored. We've been called whatever. African American. Yeah, we're mixed with white and African. Yes, we are. Yes, white too. Don't forget that part, y'all. Nowadays, we want to forget that white is in us too. In my family, our big mama, we know she was mixed. Her father owned the land that she was raised on. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to share this little poem that I wrote. And I think it's called Black Women Are Like Queen Bees. I'm live. I turned the comments off. Please click like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, please. To me, I'm just Afro Native, you know. My hair look like a tree. Afro Native. My hair look like a tree. That's it. Nothing more complicated than that. That's how I know when I see people like me. Their hair look like a tree, just walking down the street. Mobile trees. We're more like mobile trees than anything else. But anyway, here we go. Black women are like queen bees. She's obviously Black, but with degrees. Don't take your eyes off of her. Well, because she stings. Naturally plump, stealing all glares, leaving herself everywhere. Whether hair or her kid. There's a word I wrote here and I don't know what it is, but I'll just go to the next word. I'll go blank until I figure it out. I write in chicken scratch. Blank, sacrifice everything just for one bite. Oh, Okay. 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 I think I know what that word is, but I have to come back to it. Anyway, savages, they say, just put me in the room, watch how they play, draw the lines, or pay their crimes. All right, guys. I wrote that the other day, but I'm going to work on it. I'm not done. That's just a part of it. So, anyway, yes, I love America. I don't want to be anywhere else. I don't need to be anywhere else. Here, I'm able to be myself, move around freely domestically. Um, there are rules, of course, that I must consider on all levels, whether rules related to faith, how I choose to practice my belief. You know, my belief is my core, but how I choose to practice it, to me, that's a part of my faith. And to be faithful, something has to be shown for it. I have to give an account for my thoughts because my thoughts become actions, which are measurable, can be questioned, proven, disproven. We're all like some type of, not an experiment, okay? Because we're here breathing and breathing. We're here. We're alive. We're the reproduction line, if you will. Remember that song, Reproduction? Was that the movie Grease? I'm into stuff like that, guys. I love singing, dancing, stuff like Broadway theater. No, like I love watching Debbie Allen, her really old school stuff. Like I love Fame and stuff like that. But anyway, so that's the level of dance that I was, taught and came into on that level of dance, that precision, competition. So, but that was a long time ago in the 80s and stuff, 90s, 80s, 90s and stuff. But even in my adulthood, I was in adult dance because I raised my kids to be dancers and athletes and all that. And in music, my kids had lessons in all the areas, dance, sports and music. And, I exposed them to everything, you know, faith that we had. We went to church. We were believers anyway, but, we went to church and stuff too. So, anyway, back to how much I love America no matter what we go through, because I am her. I've been her from the beginning, and I will be her until the end. I have offspring. I have 7 grandsons. 7 grandsons. Okay. And I do believe in teenage dating. I believe in teenage dating because I know that adults get started early on kids. So I believe in the power of choice. So if a child can choose for themselves, at least someone they think they love in their heart, I encourage it. I'm not saying I encourage children to be physically involved. No, I'm not saying that. But there's nothing more beautiful than watching a child. I was a child who was touched before her time. And so I know the value of when I became of age and was able to look at a boy for myself and say, I like him. Even though, I was already violated, I still afforded myself, Most High did, for me to feel normal stuff, go through the normal process of what I saw other teenagers do and what I saw on TV and all that. I still could afford to feel certain things and experience, you know, a boy asking me out on a date, bringing me flowers, you know, a card with hearts in it and X's and O's and writing poems. And, you know, I remember when Luther Vandross, one of his albums came out, and one of the boyfriends I had at the time, actually the first guy I ever, you know, was with on my own because I chose to and wanted to be with. He bought me a Luther Vandross album, guys. One of those big old albums, not the little 45s, the big album. Okay. Oh my God. So yeah, I mean, like back then, guys wrote love notes and it was just cute. If they broke up with you, I knew what it felt like to, for a guy to break up with you young. And you be mad about it and he be mad about it and then he break up with you or you break up with him or whatever. It doesn't even matter which way it really go. But because some people will trick you into breaking up with them so that they don't have to be the one carrying the negativity. You know what I mean? Like if I don't want to be the one known as the one who did the breaking up, then I'll create some crazy way to make you want to break up with me. So now you're the one that's responsible for the breakup, not me. People play those kind of games. So you can't always go by who actually walked out the door or who was the last one to say, okay, well, fine, I quit. You can't always go by that because you don't know what game was played to lead to that moment. Anyway, so, you know, I've been around long enough where people get together as teenagers, as early as like middle school, 12, 13, 14. You say you like somebody and you shoot your shot, you take this risk, it's a gamble, and if they like you, yay, you and all your friends are, happy. And if they say no, it's like, all right, fine, you were ugly anyway. I didn't like you anyway. And you just go on, you know? And your friends like, "Oh, what? Oh, well, you're gonna get somebody better," and it was just that simple. But now, things are different, and which is fine. Nothing has to stay the same, guys. So we just have to you know, keep up with the trends, the time, and all that. But our belief in our core can stay the same. Our belief in our core can stay the same, even though dating trends change, you know? And so I've retired. I'm old enough and was married for 32 years and raised uh, four children total. I gave natural birth to two from the first marriage. And then in my second marriage, I adopted two children in that marriage. So I raised four children. The first two naturally girls, and through adoption, two boys. They're all grown, and I'm a grandmother and everything. And I'm divorced after 32 years. Both my husbands um, married the next woman. The women that they, left me for, they married them. So, it is what it is. And I'm at the point where I don't want to play that marriage divorce game anymore. I'm done. I tap out. And people may say, well, you shouldn't give up. You could find the right one. I'm just saying that based on where I'm at, it's not worth it. You know what I mean? It's not worth trying anymore. It's not worth it. I'd rather, at this point, accept who I am, even when others can't. I can. I can, guys. I accept me. I'm just fine with me. I love my brain. I love my own hands, my own feet, my own ability to cook and clean for myself. I love that about me. I love that. I love that I can maintain myself. I love that about me. The only thing I need to learn how to do is provide. I've never had to do that before. I've never had to provide for myself before. That's the only thing I've never had to do. I mean, pretty much everything else I've done, you know, pretty much everything else. But the one thing I've never had to do is provide for myself. So I had to figure out how to make money. I've never had to figure out, how to make money in a way to provide for myself. So I have to figure out how to become a millionaire, how to become a millionaire, a billionaire, you know. I have to. That's what I'm used to living. I mean, not that my exes are, well, they are. They're rich men. I mean, they are. My exes are rich men. And I was, provided for pretty good as a kid. I mean, I didn't go without anything as a kid, you know. My grandparents were comfortable, I mean, like, I don't know life without, even though I don't consider myself rich because, again, me personally, even though my, parents and grandparents did good and my spouses are wealthy people and all that, me personally, right out of college, I became a mom. You know what I mean? Well, I was a married woman. Right out of college, I'm married. My husband's in Desert Storm War. I'm having our first child, you know, right out of college at 21, 22. I'm married and I'm a mom. And I never stopped, never stopped. So I never took on the role of provider. Never, ever, ever. But because they want to be married to other people, you know, I must figure it out. And this world has no mercy. They don't care if you're 15 or 56. When you're abandoned, you better get your ass out there and figure it out, bitch. Ho. you know? So I'm out here, guys. Hey. Bitch, ho, and all. I'm out here, y'all. So I'm out here. I am the mother of all living in America because I am the original, generationally, mother-wise, an Afro native. An Afro native. Yes, I'm mixed with slavery, with white and black. Yes. And that white mixture could be anything, you know, and that black mixture could be any type of African, you know. I happen to know that I'm a indirect descendant of Cudjo Lewis. I know that. But I'm just saying in general. But collectively, I am an Afro Native woman mixed with that American black and white slavery constitutional agreement. Yes, I am. I don't deny any of it. I'm all of it. I know who my white ancestors are, and I know who my black ones are as an Afro Native woman. Absolutely. I am thankful to the Most High Yah, God, and His only begotten Son, Jesus, Yeshua, the Lord of all lords, the King of all kings. I don't limit myself to names personally. Personally, I really don't think that we can even speak the name correctly, properly on this earth. I don't even think the name of the Most High, Yah, the God of all gods, you know, the King of all kings, the Lord of all kings, the Lord of all lords. I don't even think any natural tongue could really say the name for real. But we do our best. We do our best, right? You know, so that's why I just throw all the names out there. Throw them all out there. Because I can't say it properly anyway. These natural lips don't even have the capacity, the the purity to utter, utter it out. But I do my best. And I don't, you know, go off on anyone else who's doing their best, trying to praise the Lord. I don't play that name game like that. And some people do, and it's fine. I get it. I mean, to them, it's life or death, and I get it. But I believe the condition of our heart, how we guard it and maintain it over time, because there's constant attacks on the love, the faith, well, I'll say the belief, the love and belief that we have within us. There are constant attacks on our life, our actual breath. The moment breath leaves our body, it's under attack, our very lives, whether male or female. It starts in the womb. You know, we have to get here some kind of way. You know, you may have some quote unquote, sperm in this body over here and some eggs in this body over here. But until they come together and there's this laboratory womb experience, there will never be breath. There will never be this opportunity to be a man or a woman. So here in America, I know who I am, even though I get no credit. The honor is not there, no acknowledgement. I'm just walking around looking like a tree for no reason, just breathing and breathing. But anyway, guys, that's enough of me just talking my stuff, just doing me, being me. That's one thing about being divorced solo. And someone told me, well, you shouldn't speak that, on yourself. I'm like, that's a blessing. It's a blessing to know when to stop. It's a blessing to know when to start, how to maintain, and when to stop. The world we live in, there's not a whole lot of love left. There's not a whole lot of love left. The pain and agony from the sin is over boiling, over boiling. And there's not a whole lot of love left. So if you have any love in you, pace yourself and share it. Share it where it matters. Share it where it matters. Don't waste your love in dead places. We're measured our faith. We're measured our love. We're measured our strength. Don't just be spilling yours on the ground, bleeding on the ground, wasting your tears on people that will never collect them. Give your love and tears in places where they're at least collected and valued, even if it's just within yourself. Stay alive, not only to survive, but to thrive. You have to push forward, thrive. I have 7 grandsons, 7 grandsons. I'm going to be alive for a long time, guys. 7 grandsons. Based on what I've learned about men, I don't see my grandsons being any different. So I am going to make sure they are well equipped. I want to make sure that they have all the money and homes and, to add to their generations to come. That's just how much I want to live. I want to be alive. I'm not going to waste my love, tears, and energy with dead men anymore. Men that are no longer reproductive in my life. Just like I cannot reproduce for a man, I can't reproduce for him. He cannot reproduce for me either. I have 7 grandsons that are going to be adding to my bloodline, my breath and breeding for generations and generations. This is where I'm going to give the rest of my oil to, teaching my grandsons to work, teach them to brush their teeth and clean their butts and how to get out there and, cut your hair and, look good in this world and attract the right kind of women. Attract the right kind of women. You got to work, go to school, Use your money wisely, your time wisely. Keep your life clean, your butt clean, your home clean. Be clean. Get in the word of the Lord. Know the Lord. Know who your enemies are. Know yourself, you're good, you're bad. If you know your own good and your own bad, can't no other MFer trip you up. 7 brothers, they should be able to know how men are just among themselves. And I'm going to keep them close. I'm keeping my grandsons close. The world want them separated. The world want them 7 brothers to believe that they are each other's worst enemy. I'm letting them know, hell to the no. Y'all, all y'all got. I ain't grew up with no brothers. I ain't had no brothers. But I believe if I did have brothers, a lot of stuff wouldn't have happened to me had I had brothers. So I'm letting my grandsons be my brothers at this point. Okay. And I'm going to reward them by teaching them how to take care of themselves, maintain themselves. You better watch your front part of your life, and you got a back life. You better make sure your back life and your front life are balanced and keep an eye on both sides. Look up and know what's down. And there's no one greater than your brother. No one, not even you. Teaching my 7 grandsons to look out for each other. Period. We women, we got each other. But y'all have to have each other's back. Because there are people out there waiting to take y'all down one by one. And I ain't gonna have it. I ain't gonna have it. I'm willing to stay divorced so that my 7 grandsons can be men. The kind of men that will not abandon families. You pay where you lay, period. So I'm out here door dashing with my grandsons, taking them back and forth to school and work, hustling. Before I get mine, I want them to have theirs. Because I know I'm a dying tree myself. But through them, I'm still breathing and breathing. Through them, I will never die. I will live. And then I have one beautiful little granddaughter. If she never have a child, that is fine. She got 7 brothers that's going to be breeding their asses off. Why does she need to have anybody? She just need to be a rich auntie. That's it. But if she wants her own family, that's fine, of course. I had mine. Obviously, her mother had hers. So if she wanted family, that's fine. But at least she gonna know what sacrifice come with it. Between me and her mother, she gonna know what having a husband mean and the sacrifices that come with it. But she also has a auntie that never married and never had no kids. So she gonna see that too and know that she can stay solo if she want to. I just happen to be divorced solo. But I'm ready for these grandsons to be men. I know that one by one. And they're going to be united. I'm going to die making sure these boys are united. How about that? I want to put purpose to every part of me. I believe there's purpose to my birth, purpose to my life. Now I got purpose to my death. I'm going to die making sure my 7 grandsons are men. Period. Flaws and all. They're men. On their best day, on their worst day, they're men. Their biological grandfather, their real grandfather, on his best day, worst day, he was a man, a soldier, a Marine, college graduate, entrepreneur, and balling. They granddaddy balling. And they gonna be ballers too. That's all I fuck with. Period. That's all I raise. That's all I produce. Ballers. I ain't done yet. And I don't have to have no legal husband to put more ballers in the world. We already here. But Most High is great, and he's greatly to be praised. I love him. He allows me to love myself, to love my daughters, to love my grandchildren, all eight alive. And we're not done, y'all. We may not look like much now, but we're not done. I know too much. I know too many people. I have the right connections. We're not done. We were just down because of divorce. But we ain't lost nothing. Delay don't mean give up and die. No, 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 no. Seven grandsons, y'all. Seven grandsons. I'm like, what? What? Me and my daughters and my one little granddaughter, we are set. Four queens. Four queens over here. Regardless to our ages, regardless to our stages, regardless to our status. We're four queens with seven kings to stand on that come from us that we raise and we're proud of. And we want them to be everything that their grandfather is. Everything that their grandfather is. I am happy to let them know that that's what they need to shoot for. They have discernment. They know what to, you know, use and not use. Of course, they're men. They'll figure it out. But I'm letting them know that that's somebody that they can be proud to be named after, look like, act like, whatever. Divorce didn't stop that. Divorce didn't stop their heritage, their legacy. It didn't stop their DNA. Divorce, some things it just can't destroy. I'm sorry. It just doesn't. It doesn't have to anyway. At least in my case. I'm proud to present my seven grandsons to the world. We look a little, you know, dusty now, you know, but we coming up through, coming up through. Look a little rough around the edges, but we're four women ranging from young to old. And we're here standing behind these young men, pushing them forward. As we handle our own business, we're queens, we handle our own business. We do what we got to do among ourselves, but we gonna make sure these boys is out there represented. That's for sure. Y'all should see my little grandbaby. She was, but what, 3 or 4? 3 or 4 years old. That little girl so bossy. She gotta be. She got 7 brothers. One little girl can't be bossy with 7 brothers. I ain't even had no brothers, you know what I'm saying? But I'm excited about my grandsons, presenting them to the world. My oldest is 16, Caden. Caden he's been working 2 years, driver's training. We DoorDash together. Um, he been dating for a couple of years. I drive him to the movies. I did that with his mom and daddy. I was the little chauffeur for his mom and daddy. Okay. So now it's his turn. I'm driving him around on dates, and you know, he's talking about whether or not to go to college, and it's his choice. It's fine. Either way, you know. But entrepreneurship is usually not an option. He's going to have to do something with that. And of course, you always work part time in the system to, keep at least part time to keep some money in the Social Security just in case it's there. Don't hurt you. So those are the things you know, just on day-to-day basis, just talk to him about, you know. So, and I intend to do this with each and every one of my grandchildren, just as I did with all four of my kids and the majority of my nieces and nephews. The majority of my nieces and nephews have driver's license because of me, went to college if they went because of me, helping them fill out paperwork, driving them back and forth, giving them transportation, housing, whatever. I'm just saying. So I'm not bragging. I'm just saying that the reason why I'm not rich like the other people in my life is because I'm on the ground. I'm on the ground level with the kids, making sure they, you know, get the adult tools such as driving, education of their choice. I don't force anybody to go to college. You don't have to go to be a successful person here. You don't. That's the beauty of America. I love it here. It's beautiful here. You can do nothing and still breathe and breed. Or if you can run for president, that's how it's supposed to be. You can just be here because God sent you, or you can be an overachiever. Just make up stuff to do so that you can have titles and money. Hmm. I know I'm oversimplifying it, but please, if you could click like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and, love yourself more. It is okay to love yourself more. And I am a woman who has had 5 suicide attempts, guys. I was so disappointed with, how my life was turning out. I just didn't want to be here anymore. The choices that I made, you know, people may say, oh, she just loved too much or loved the wrong way or whatever. Whatever reason you want to give it is fine. I'm just telling you from my own mouth. I was so disappointed with my own choices, sacrificing myself in ways that just wasn't necessary, disappointing myself. I just didn't want to be here, overcommitting in ways that just didn't make sense, creating debt that I couldn't pay, creating debt that was being passed down to my kids, creating debt that's being passed down to my grandkids. Sin has no end. Silly, foolish women ways travels generationally. So in my case, divorce stopped all that bleeding out. And it's up to me to honor the escape, to honor him leaving me, honor him divorcing me, honor him being a man, really, accepting his mistake because I was bleeding out generationally to the point where the only way I could stop bleeding was for him to create the cut. And so I appreciate that he did, even though I may, you know, describe how hurtful it is and share details on, you know, how we got to that point and all that. But at the end of the day, it was needed. And it's up to me to honor it and respect it and focus on my own breath, my own breathing, my life. Keep my bloodline pure and focus on my two daughters. Focus on my eight grandchildren alive. I already lost one due to all of this sin and confusion. I lost a granddaughter along the way because my marriage was so bad. So I had to allow the divorce. I had to allow a clean cut, even if I couldn't create it myself. I did it once, as a young woman, I divorced and suffered through the consequences of that. I couldn't do it again. I didn't have the strength. So it took Most High creating it within him. And he had to be that man and do it. And I'm thankful. Even though I may talk about it in detail and describe all the crazy stuff that happened and all that. But at the end of the day, I do respect any man that know when to stop, any woman that know when to stop. Stop bleeding, stop hurting, stop sinning, stop hurting yourself, stop hurting your children, stop hurting your grandchildren. Just stop. Somebody has to stop. So I stop by staying divorced solo and no, it's not cursing myself. And no, it's not speaking against myself. No, it's honoring the divorce and giving myself a chance to heal, giving my children a chance to heal, giving my grandchildren a chance to heal without worrying about who is hurting grandma. No one is hurting grandma. No one will leave grandma abandoned again. No one will divorce grandma again. No one will ever punch grandma in the face again. No, grandma will never get cheated on again. None of that. 32 years was enough. I don't want my kids and grandkids to ever have to worry about me and marriage and abuse again. I don't even want to have to think about it, let alone them. So divorce solo works for me. It's best for me. Each woman, each family, each situation is different. I find personally that once parents, grandparents reach a certain age and stage in life, me personally, it's best to stay solo because it creates situation where, you know, generational inheritance and wealth and legacy is jeopardized. New families out of nowhere that had nothing to do with family legacy and wealth can come along, just get it just like that. Just like that. So to keep from any new family that I'm marrying to from competing and suing my kids and grandkids for the little crumbs that we have, I will just keep my legs closed. Easy price to pay. Keep my legs closed, keep my marriage status divorced, and be happy with myself. Be happy with my kids. Be happy with my grandkids. I don't see why that is so hard and why is that such a big deal. Yeah, I know lust will always be there. Temptation will always be there. Yeah, I get that hard part. I get that. But I'm not, but that's so small. How could that possibly be enough to put your kids and grandkids in a position where they're in court? There is not that much sex in the world to put my kids in the street begging for bread. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening to me. I appreciate it. And some of you may listen and take notes like, oh my, wow. And others may listen and say, this lady is really, really super crazy. Either way, thanks for listening. I appreciate it for real. Support is support, really. hmm It is. And so click like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, whether you like me or not. You can still do that. It's basically free to do it. But it is support and it'll keep me out here, whether you like me or not, you know. Because some people, you love to love them, and some people you love to hate them. Some TV shows you turn them on every week or every day or however often you get it, just so you can hate this one person. Like, oh my God, I can't stand her. And what's she doing today? Oh, I can't stand her. What is she doing today? What's she wearing? It worked. I don't know why. I'm used to it. I used to be a little bit of a, child celebrity when I was coming up. Just a little bit small potato scale. Mhm. So I know how people are. And I learned at an early age. It can hurt your feelings, but it's funny though. Once you, cry a tear or two, and you sit back and you think about it, you're like, dang, that was kind of bold. Mm, wow. People think that about me? I look like that? What? Mm. And then you can kind of play on it. You really can have fun with it. Once you cry, you can enjoy it for real. Okay, guys. You all be blessed. Have a great day. I'm sure I'll be back. Okay. I'll be back. I enjoy being on here. It's my thing. Okay.